Hi, welcome back. This is Rod Robinson, a good friend of mine, and one who I've known a very long time. So, do you believe that there are some people, let's say psychics or mediums, who actually can perform true magic?
I think it depends on how you define magic. If you're
Okay,
talking about
good.
somebody who's very sensitive and can read people's emotions and can do a really good job of what's called cold reading, which is
Okay.
you throw out some things and say, I'm sensing that you've had some challenges, just real recently, maybe even some physical challenges. And you watch. Okay, you're shaking your head, right? So I'm reading
Right,
you,
right.
and I'm not great at cold reading. I can do it, but some of them can be very, very good. Now, if you want to call that real magic, okay. But
Yeah.
if we're talking about reaching into the recesses of the mind and literally hearing a word or a phrase or reaching the other side, no, I don't. There is a there was a magician who died a few years ago by the name of James Randi. James Randi put out $1 million challenge. For years, anybody who could demonstrate under scientific test conditions
Okay.
that they had true paranormal powers, I'll give you $1 million. That was out there for years. Lots of people tried. None of them succeeded. I'm thinking if somebody who could do that, they could actually do that, it'd be an easy $1 million.
It seems like
But
it.
nobody did.
Yes.
There was a magician, a illusionist, who passed away about 2 years ago. Dear friend of mine, literally lived real close to here, where we're at right now, by the name of Andre Cole. Andre traveled the world for 50 years, played to millions and millions of people, but he was also a paranormal investigator. And he came to the same conclusion. I did the same conclusion in my book, is that the real thing is simply not possible.
Okay.
He did the same thing James Randi did. It wasn't $1 million, but it was like 50 grand or something. And he had people who said, yes, I have the power, and they would try it, and and they weren't able to. They just weren't able to. Again, 50 grand. If you got the power,
Right.
claim it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there for the taking.
It's there for you.
Yes, absolutely.
So my conclusion is no, I don't think that true paranormal powers are humanly possible. I think they can be faked, number one. I think there are people who really are genuinely sensitive to other people's emotions, and they can read them really well, and
Body language and
body
everything.
language,
Right, big deal.
and convince people that they are literally reaching in there. But I've not seen compelling evidence that
Okay.
it's the real thing.
Okay. Next question would be then, some people believe that Christians shouldn't perform magic or, for that matter, watch it.
Yeah.
Clearly, you would not be in that camp, right?
No. No, that would be a
How
safe
would you
assumption.
answer that objection?
Well, I wish Toby Travis, my co-author, was here, because he can answer it a whole lot better than I can, and he does answer it in the book, and I touch on it in my chapters as well. They usually go back to verses in the Bible that say God condemns magic. When you really dig in, it kind of back to what we were talking about earlier. When you really dig into what God was condemning, he's condemning presumed powers that actually deceive people for personal gain. There's a magician in the New Testament, and I think it was Paul and Silas. I believe they were the ones that confronted him. And when they condemned him, they didn't say, we condemn you for performing magic and performing those real powers. They
Okay.
didn't say that. They condemned him because he was deceiving people. He was taking advantage of people with presumed powers.
Okay.
And that's again, Toby does a fabulous job of going. I mean, he digs into the
It's
Hebrew
very
and the Greek,
interesting,
and
yes.
way over my head. But he puts forth a very, very compelling, biblically sound base for magic is when God condemns magic in the Bible, he's not condemning doing magic tricks. That's not what he's talking about. He's not condemning doing entertainment magic like I do and like Toby and Adrian do. What he's saying is you're deceiving people, you're lying to them, you're taking advantage of them, and in every case, that was what they were doing.
And for gain, too.
And for gain.
Yes.
Either power or money.
Yes, absolutely. I found it very interesting that in your book you talk about Houdini and his friendship with the author Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Book, I'm sorry. The
Conan Doyle.
author.
Yeah, Arthur Conan Doyle.
So, yes, So the chapter is titled The Strange Case of the Psychic Odd Couple. Tell us about that relationship.
So Houdini
That
was
is
a paranormal debunker. He spent the last several years of his life going to these mediums and their seances, and he exposed one after another, after another, after another, and it was putting him out of business. So he and Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, became very good friends. Arthur Conan Doyle could not have been more different than Houdini with regard to the paranormal. He believed in fairies.
Okay.
It was what was called the Cottingley fairies. They were in England.
Okay.
It turned out to be two little girls pulling a prank. Not the same two little girls, but
Right.
these were other two little girls pulling
Those
pranks.
girls, you got to watch them, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Causing trouble again.
Yeah. But he bought it. I mean, he believed they were real fairies out there. And then as it turned out, they said, no, we were, these were like little cutouts. And we were taking pictures of them. And, but he believed it. He really believed it. And so one time, Conan Doyle's wife, who was a spiritualist medium, did a seance with Houdini. And Conan Doyle said, we're going to prove to you that it's a real thing. Houdini's mom, with whom he was very, very close, had passed away. And Conan Doyle and his wife did this medium to try to contact his mother. And so his wife, the medium, started writing down a message presumably from Houdini's mother. And one thing was his mother called him Houdini, Harry Houdini, or Harry. The other one was she put a little cross on there.
Okay.
She was writing down the message.
Gotcha.
There was a little cross there. And there was one other thing, I forget what it was, but
It's
so
that
Harry,
absent-mindedness.
yeah, no kidding. I used to know all three.
Yeah.
But then Houdini got really ticked. He goes, "That's not real. Number one, I know what it was. They were writing in English. She said my mother never spoke English.
Okay.
Number two, she never called me Harry. My name's Eric. Eric Weiss was his real name. And number three, I'm Jewish." And she put a cross on
Yes, that wouldn't be.
there. That ain't mom. And they split. Conan Doyle and Houdini, who were very good friends, split from that point. And I don't think they ever did reconcile.
Yes. Interesting. That's an interesting story. So you wrote in your book some of the things that we all need to be mindful of to avoid deception. We really need that this day and age to avoid deception. So what are the couple of things that we can do to avoid deception?
There's a magician friend of mine that I talked about in the book named Dan Coram.
Okay.
Fabulous magician. And he now is a profiler for law enforcement, government agencies, schools. He writes books about it. But he was a really good magician at one time, touring magician. So I asked him, in preparation for the first book, I said, in your opinion, who is the most difficult person to deceive? Without missing a beat, he said, the most difficult person to deceive is the person who loves the truth more than they fear their pain.
Okay.
Person who loves the truth more than they fear their pain.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Pain can open you up to tremendous deception.
Yes.
That's why when I went to Camp Chesterfield, I'm seeing people who were in pain because they had
Yes.
lost a loved one.
Yes.
And I'm seeing deceivers up there taking
Yes.
advantage
Very
of these
open.
people.
Yes. Oh, that
but
makes
they were in
sense.
pain. All they wanted to do was hear from my mother,
Whoever,
hear from
yes.
my departed daughter, so on. And so they were in pain. They were opened up to deception. And I think that's one thing, is love the truth more than you fear your pain.
Love
Don't
that.
allow pain to open you up to deception. That's easier said than done. I
It
get it.
is.
I
Totally,
do. I
yes.
get it. I have a friend years ago whose young son passed away, very, very young. And his wife fell into the whole spiritualist medium thing. She was in tremendous pain. And one of these charlatans came
Right.
along and took advantage of that pain. So I would say, number one, love the truth. Is it true? Of course, that's easier. That's easier said than done. Well, yeah, but it looks so real,
Right. Right.
I mean, when people see me do something on stage, they go, yeah, and I know you say it's not the real thing, but how could that not be? Because you're not seeing. So just always ground yourself
Yes.
in the truth. What is true, and don't allow my pain to tell me otherwise.
Focus on truth. I love that. Love that. So, how can listeners find your book? Let's talk about the first book first.
Okay. Well, they are both on my website.
Okay. Which is?
Which is the easiest one to remember is TucsonMagician.com.
Okay.
TucsonMagician, magician, TucsonMagician.com. There's also mintillusions.com. They all point to the same place. And there's a little tab there that says books.
Perfect.
And you can order it. Unmasking the Masquerade.
Awesome.
The other book is on there as well.
Okay.
The Magic of Cultivating Positive Emotions.
Excellent.
So, yeah, they're both available. And, or you can go on Amazon. I mean, rather you buy them from me, but
Right.
you don't have to. You can literally go on Amazon and just put my name in there or the name of the books, and it'll pop right up there for you.
So, I understand you have received some feedback from the seminars that you put on down in Tucson. Can you share some of the feedback you've received?
Yeah, I have the attendees write down their thoughts about the program at the end of the program. And I've always, whenever I go to the seminar, I just say one little prayer. I say, God, help me bless somebody. I just typically say that. And then when I get that feedback, that written feedback, I'm like, okay, that's the person tonight, or that's the 2 or 3 people tonight, because there's some amazing feedback that I get from it, which makes it very gratifying. Because as I said earlier, I used to do just straight entertainment at this same resort. And then I decided, I'm just kind of tired of just doing the entertainment thing because it was a long way from my house. And then I put the seminars and show together, and that's what really ended up being my sweet spot. And so I have these people coming, and they're saying, this was life-changing for me. I've never seen anything like it. I've been to all these seminars. This is the best seminar I've been to. I'm going to apply these principles to my own life. That's the fuel for me.
Yes, that's the golden ticket right
I go,
there.
okay,
Yes.
that's why I'm going there for
Yes.
for 4 years now
Yes.
as a regular, because to me, that's worth more than money. That's worth more
Yes.
than anything else.
Yes.
So I really, really like that. So let me just tell you about a couple of people. There was one time when I did a seminar there. I usually have anywhere from a low night is 15, a high night's about 30. It's small, fairly small seminar rooms. And there's all kinds of other seminars going on.
Yes.
So if I get 15 to 30 people, that's about normal. So this particular night, I get there and 4 people show up. Well, if you're an entertainer, it's a little difficult. You're telling funny stories, you're doing, you need participants and this stuff. I'm
And
like,
now
boy.
4 people, you have to have at least 2 people paying attention.
Yeah. So it's either they come up here and now we're playing to nobody, or I don't have a show. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Well, I get into my introduction, and coming in late is a couple, and they sit in the back row. And I'm like, well,
So
they
you
just,
got these people and
Yeah.
then those people.
yeah, and a great gulf fixed
Right.
between. So I thought, well, it's an increase of 50%, so that's
I
good.
love it. That's great. Yes.
So, but the program actually went very, very well. Guy comes up to me afterwards, the guy who was late, and he goes, "Oh, I'm a magician." I went, "Oh, boy, I'm glad you didn't tell me that because that would have made me even more nervous." He goes, "No, it was great. I really liked it." And he says, "I got to tell you what this meant to me." So he said, we got in a conversation, and I said, "Well, I just do this little short prayer before I come to this, and Lord, help me bless somebody." He goes, "Well, that was for me." So he tells me a story. He had spent months and months and months in a catatonic state, mental breakdown. This is a very successful businessman, unable to do anything but stare. As it turned out, the day before he came, or maybe I guess it was the day of the seminar, he was diagnosed with a terrible disease with a very bad prognosis. And he said, I almost didn't come, but then I saw there was a magician, and it also had to do with emotional health. And boy, I could use that right now. So my wife and I almost didn't come. That's why we were late, but we came. And he said, I can't tell you how much this meant to me. Well, he and I have become friends over the last couple of years. We had lunch a couple of times. We're having lunch next month when he's in town. But so that was very gratifying.
Yes.
And by the way, he's improved markedly.
Love
Not because of my seminar, but because he's gotten the help he's needed, and the prognosis is much much better. I just texted him like 3 days ago and I said, "How you been?" He goes, "Oh, my health is great."
Oh, good.
So that was really good to hear. There was another lady who came afterwards. A lot of times people will talk to me afterwards, and this was just I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, and she told me the story of how her son had been killed in college because he was trying to get into a fraternity, and the hazing had killed him. And she's been fighting this. This is a big, high-profile story. I remember it in the news, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was your son?" Yes, and she's just devastated. So here's, these people are sitting in the audience. I have no clue what they're going through. And
this was the same audience.
No, those were two different audiences.
Okay.
Another lady comes up to me. This is like 2 weeks ago. She tells me her story. And her husband had left her. And she's telling me, she rattles off all these cars she's got and houses all over the country. But she's miserable, and she's miserable. And so she's talking to me about this. There's 3 different people. Here's one thing they all had in common. Very wealthy.
Yeah.
Very wealthy. This is a pricey place that I'm doing these shows in. It's like $1,000 and up a night. So they got money. But here's what that said to me. It doesn't matter how much money you have.
Right.
All of these people, we can't think of them as higher than us, greater than us. In so many cases, they are going through their own personal hells.
Yes.
And when I go there, I have to keep in mind that every one of these people has a story, and there's a reason they're here tonight. Right. And I've had that happen over and over again. When I read these comments, I'm like, I can see why they came tonight, because they saw the title.
Yes.
And they want to know, how do I deal with these emotional issues? I've had numerous people tell me that they're grieving or they're estranged from their kids. And I just go, that's what keeps me going.
Yes.
When I can help somebody else, just, it's with a show and seminar, entertainment, 1 hour of entertainment and some takeaway. And I'm like, that's worth it.
It is.
That's worth driving over there to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Okay. Tell the gorilla story.
Oh, so this is how this is one of the things I open my program with. So, say, how many people here are from Arizona? Well, very few, because they all come from all over the country to this resort. Well, if you're from Tucson, you know about a little zoo called the Reed Park Zoo. It's a lovely little zoo. Been around for a long, long time. But during one of the big recessions, they had a really tough time. It was bad enough as it was. with, times being what they were. But then it got worse because their star attraction, the gorilla, died. Well, they didn't have enough money for a new gorilla. Those
Right.
things are expensive, but they did have just enough money to buy a gorilla costume. So they did, and they put an ad out in the paper. Guy comes in the next morning and he says, "Hey, I hear you got a job. What do you got?" The zookeeper says, "Well, you've probably heard our gorilla died. They're very expensive. Times being what they were, we don't have enough money to buy a new gorilla, but we did have just enough money to buy a gorilla costume and a mask, and if they're right over there, in fact, and if you'll put them on tomorrow morning, come a little early, put them on, go in the gorilla cage. I don't think anybody will know the difference." He guy goes, "Well, I don't have a job. I guess I'll take a shot at that." Next morning, he comes in early, puts on the gorilla costume, the mask, gets in the gorilla cage. Just about that time, they opened the gates. Everybody had heard there was a new gorilla at the zoo. And so the families, the kids, the parents all come straight for the gorilla cage. He sees them coming. He goes, "I've never done this before. I don't even know if I can pull this off." So he starts beating his chest. He starts jumping up and down. About 30 seconds in, he realizes they're buying this thing. They think I'm the real thing. By the end of the day, he'd had a blast. He goes, "This is the career move for me. I'm going to be a gorilla the rest of my life." Comes back the next morning. He goes into the gorilla cage before they open the gates, and he sees they have installed a tire swing. He goes, "Boy, I'm going to put on a show with this thing today." Well, they open the gates. Everybody heads to the gorilla cage. He jumps up on the tire swing. He starts swinging back and forth. The higher he swings, the more the kids and the parents are clapping. The more they clap, the higher he swings. They're throwing peanuts. They're having a blast. He's having a blast. He goes 90 degrees this way, 90 degrees this way, 90 degrees this way. He gets so excited by their excitement, he accidentally lets go, and he flies right over top of the gorilla cage, and he lands smack dab in the middle of the lion's den. Well, he got knocked out for just a second, and he woke up just in time to see 3 ferocious lions charging right at him. He panicked, and he ripped off his mask for everybody to see, and he yelled out for everybody to hear, "Why did I take this stupid job?" Just about that time, one of the lions said, "Shut up or you're going to get us all fired." So,
I love it.
the mask, I take that, and
That's
then I transition to, well, we all wear masks, don't we?
We do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, once the worries and burdens
Yes.
of adulthood kind of take over that childish and childhood innocence and positivity, it gets kind of shoved aside. But it's still behind the mask. It just needs some cultivation. And then I talk about how do we cultivate positive emotions,
Yes.
and that's where we go with that.
Absolutely. Okay. So this is this. Now, let's talk.
Okay.
So where have you seen God really show up in your life over the years? What are some times that there's just no mistake? You shared some of them with your move and to Tucson, things of that nature, with your adoption of the girls, those types of things. Is there a time in your life that you can really stand back and say, that was such a God moment? It doesn't have to be huge. Sometimes it's the little ones.
And I think that's it. I like to refer to the butterfly, butterfly effect, which the theory, it's just a theory, but the theory is when there's a butterfly flapping its wings in South America, it sets off a series of changes in the weather, and just the tiniest little thing changes and goes out exponentially, and it ends up changing the weather in North America. I don't think that's it's an illustration. Okay, but I love the illustration because it talks about just the little changes that you make, the little decisions that you make, places you go, things you decide to do or not do. Those things put into motion something else, and that puts into motion something else. So everything we do, in my opinion, is a God moment. Well, what does it say in Scripture? All things work together for good to them, not to everybody, but to them who love God and those who are the called according to His purpose, not mine, His purpose. So I just like to think of, it's just the little things for the most part. I don't have, there's a small handful of dramatic things where it's like, oh God, he really told me and my wife to move to Tucson. He told us we needed to adopt these 2 little girls, that type of thing that we talked about. But for the most part, it's just it's the little butterfly effect things that happen. in fact, I was telling my kids this recently. I said, it's these tiny little decisions that I didn't know was going to make a difference. I decided to go to Cedarville College instead of another college. If I hadn't made that decision, I would never have met my wife.
Right.
If I'd never met my wife, you kids would not be sitting here right now. See that whole thing, that one little decision that seemed like almost nothing. So I tell them how I met my wife. So we happen to have a mutual friend. I said, boy, I'd like to meet her. She's one of the incoming freshmen. And he goes, I'll introduce you to her because her brother married my sister.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
she's kind of family. So we're sitting out on the bench later that day. I'm sitting on a bench with my friend Jeff. There's me, and there's Don, the guy I was talking to, sitting out in front of our dorm. Along comes my wife, Jeannie. My not then wife, Jeannie. My soon-to-be wife, Jeannie.
Right.
And Don introduces me. That night, I said, I'm calling her. So I knew where her dorm was. I called, asked for her. She comes to the phone. I said, hey, I'm Rod Robinson. Don Erickson just introduced us earlier today and wondered if you'd like to go out with me. And she goes, I remember Jeff. I don't remember you.
Oh, no.
Wow, thanks.
Oh.
But I was persistent. I was determined. I was going to meet her and I was going to date her. And so I said, well, let's just go out on the track. Let's just walk around. Let's just talk, which we did.
I love
so had I been discouraged, it's back to that whole butterfly thing. Had I went, oh, boy, that didn't go well.
Right.
I'm not going to try.
Yep.
None of this would have, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
Because we wouldn't have moved to two.
All
these
the
things
little
that
things, right?
just would have changed.
Yes.
We would have gone some other direction.
Yes.
Had I not joined the band
Yes.
that I traveled with for 5 years. Had I not done that, and I'd gone and not left college, and I would have finished my career then, I would have gone an entirely different direction. And so many things that are now happening and have happened would never have happened.
Yes.
So it's the little things. Though
Yes.
you ask for God moments.
Yes.
To me, the God moments are the little things.
I totally agree. And they do create waves.
Yeah.
The little ripples go into
Yeah.
waves, another analogy. And what do you think the Rodney Robinson, as I knew in 7th grade,
Yeah.
what do you think he would tell this Rod Robinson if he'd known
Okay.
where you were headed, or what do you think? Either way, you can look at it either way.
I
Go
think
either direction.
I would have said, when you hear the name Elon Musk, buy whatever stock he puts out. Just remember that name.
I love it. Yeah.
It's going to be a long time. But when he releases his stock,
I don't think he was born yet. We're that old.
well, but I would have told myself that if I knew.
Right.
Other than that, I think I would have said be more sensitive to people.
Okay.
Because I wasn't a jerk, but I just wasn't that sensitive to people. I
Okay.
didn't understand. I mean, I'm 14, 15 years old. I didn't understand girls' feelings, for instance. And so
That's okay. Girls don't understand girls' feelings either. That's fair.
Yeah. And see, I wish I'd have known that.
Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just stay the course. Don't get discouraged. I suffered a lot of depression,
Okay.
especially
Share some
later
of
in life. I thought I was never going to get out of it.
Okay.
That's a whole other story if you want to hear
Okay.
it.
Yes, absolutely. You are not alone.
There's lots more of it out there than
Yes.
most people think.
That's correct.
So my dad was, he grew up in the Depression, and dirt poor. His dad was an insurance salesman who had a stroke in the middle of the Depression of all times.
Wow.
Lost his job. They were terribly poor. My grandmother brought in ironing just to try, and he had no way of making a living. My dad was about 15 at the time. So he and his brother would follow the coal trucks down the street. And as the coal trucks would drop off little bits of coal, they would
Right.
pick them up, put it in their pockets so they could go home in the wintertime and have a little bit of extra heat
Oh, my
for the
goodness.
family.
Yes.
That's what they used to do.
Wow.
Christmas time, They didn't have much Christmas, but the
They would
big,
have liked coal in their stockings.
well, yeah, no kidding. There was one Christmas where they actually got something.
Yes.
The siblings were 2 girls, 2 boys, and they each got an orange and a pencil. That was a big deal to them. So depression comes to an end. World War II starts. My dad goes into the Air Force. He becomes a B-17 pilot. Had a whole career in the Air Force until 1965. But when he started having kids of his own, he and my mom would put on the most amazing Christmases for us. When they started having grandkids and we'd travel to Dallas to go see them, it got even better.
I love
My
it.
mom had this wonderful Christmas china, which we now have in our home. They would just, they put up a tree with a train going around it, little Hallmark animated bulbs.
Yes.
I can literally hear those animated bulbs
Yes.
and the train
Yes.
in my head right now, and that was 25, 30 years ago. But they used to put on this wonderful Christmas for us. My dad would sit around at Christmas Eve. He would sit on the couch. The grandkids would gather around him, and he would recite the night before Christmas from memory.
Yes.
We had all these traditions. So we had these idyllic Christmases in Dallas. Now, I always liked to, I always wanted to impress my dad. My dad had a type A personality. You know, he was
Rough.
he was a pilot, a military pilot.
Rough to impress, right?
And he loved his family dearly, loved us dearly, but he had a very strong, domineering
Yes.
presence. And it was very difficult to really, really, really talk to him like I wanted to. So all these Christmases were great, except for one of them. I had been working way too hard, getting way too little sleep. I was not taking good care of myself. And I always like to impress my dad by saying, here's how fast we got to Dallas. Got there in 16 hours. Maybe the next Christmas it would have been, hey, I got there in 15 hours and 50 minutes. So I'm trying to impress my dad.
Right.
Because my dad was he's a military guy,
Right.
and he also drove his cars like he was
Military guy.
like he was driving
Flying
a jet
plane.
airplane.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I'm fast, and Dad will be impressed, right? So I'd kind of brag about that. So this one Christmas, I'm not taking care of myself. I was dead tired. We had to leave New Year's Day, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and of course we're going to drive straight through. And my dad, right before we left, my dad said something to me, and to this day I do not know what it was. I
Okay.
do not remember what he said.
Okay.
I just remember how it made me feel, and it
Okay.
just crushed me.
Oh.
And I know he didn't mean much by it, but I had allowed myself to get into a state of high suggestibility by being too tired,
Yes.
caring, frankly, too much about what my
Yes.
dad said, not looking at things objectively. A lot of the stuff I talk about in my book, I wasn't doing. And so he said that. We get in the car the next morning, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we start heading back from Dallas to Tucson. And I started feeling very, very weird, very weird. I'd never felt anything like it in my life. Anxiety was just building up. All I wanted to do was get out of the car and stop, get out, and run across the fields of West Texas. And I'm driving. We got like 15, 16 hours to drive. I got kids in the back. I
Right.
can't tell my wife what's going on.
Right.
So I'm literally doing a meltdown while I'm driving home. By the time I got home, I'm totally sleep deprived, a mess. And I went into full-fledged depression that next day, like deep. And my wife's like, "What is going on?" So I said, "Oh, I can tell you what it feels like right now. If God came down here right now and said, I'm going to give you a couple of choices. You can either live a long life, but you're going to feel like this the rest of your life, or you can die next week." I would take die next week in a second, which is the first time I really, really understood why people who go through deep depression sometimes choose to take their own lives. I was like, I get it now. I never
Solution.
did, but I get it now. So, and this comes back to what I talk about in my book with regard to suggestion and the power of words. So I had a friend named Warren. Warren, 2 years prior to that moment, had been in a mental hospital in even deeper depression than I was, which is hard to believe, but he was really deep. And I was getting pretty close to having to be hospitalized myself. But now he's in his right mind, right? And I knew Warren had gotten through this. Maybe I can. I don't know. I don't think I can, but maybe. And I was desperate. So I asked Warren to come over to the house. He came over, listened to my story, and then these were the words, the suggestion that he gave me that made all the difference.
Speaking words, right?
Right. And he pointed to me and he said, Rod, you're going to make it. It was just 5 words. And I thought, well, he did. Maybe I can.
And he believes I
don't
can.
feel it.
Yeah.
He believes I can. Yeah, exactly. He's got faith that I can. And my wife, Jeannie, she was so loving and so understanding. At first, she was like, "What is this?" But she had started to understand, and she's giving me positive affirmation and positive suggestion and carrying me through this hell I was going through. So, 2 different suggestions. My dad said something to me that set things in motion. It was a negative thing, and it just crushed me. And then Warren came along, and my wife came along, and they're doing just the opposite.
Right.
They're giving me words of suggestion, words of wisdom, if you will, that put me on the right path. So in my seminar, I talk about we can either use our words for destruction, or we can use our words to build people up. We can use our words for destruction in our own lives, what we tell ourselves to destroy ourselves, or we can build ourselves up with the words that we tell ourselves and the thoughts. And it comes back to what we talked about in an earlier program, neuroplasticity. The thoughts, literally your thoughts, change the chemistry of your brain for good or for bad.
Wow.
And I finally did get through the depression.
Yes.
And it took years before I really got through it. It was a long process. Counseling, meds, a loving wife, friends that gathered around me, and my boss at the time. I had to tell him what was going on because I could barely function at work. And he said, "Take your time, take what you need." He was a professional counselor, so he knew, he got it.
That helped, yes.
And so he was very, very helpful. So, again, I feel awful for people who go through depression and don't have the support base that I had. And I just encourage them to, get the help you need. You don't want to go through this. Because it ain't going to get better unless you decide that you're going to take the steps to make it better.
And make a decision.
Yeah, you have to make the decision, and you don't feel like it.
No.
It's like it's all you can do to get out of bed, let alone make any kind of decision. I had to tell my staff at the time at the radio network what I was going through because I needed them to know.
Right.
And I said, some days it's a good day if I can staple 2 pieces of paper together. It's like I got something done,
Yes.
And they were very understanding.
Nice.
So that support base.
Yes. So important.
And, my wife would read Psalms to me at nighttime. That was really helpful. But if you're going through depression, man, get the help you need. Find out what you need and do it. No, it is not an illusion. I never understood it until it happened to me, and it was like, this is some wicked stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, because we need to hear stories like that. And I believe that God's given us opportunities in our life to go through the struggles and to just rest in His arms. I mean, like you said, you can staple 2 pieces of paper together. That was a good day if you did, know. And I think that that's where God shows up, right in the middle of it, and just holding us together. But we have to make those decisions.
And sometimes you go through those things so that you can help others who are going through that stuff. I've had family members who have gone through it. Now I can identify with them.
Yes.
And I can say, hey, you know what? You're not crazy.
Right.
You're going through the same thing I did.
Yes.
And I did okay.
Yes.
I got through it. It took a while, took a lot of work, but I got through it. So there's hope for you. You're going to be okay.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
telling people that if you take the right steps, you're going to be okay. Because when you're going through that hell, your brain is lying to you, and it's saying you're never going to get it. You're never going to get out of this hole. because you're so deep in that dark hole. Or as I like to think of it as a dark room, and you don't know where the doors are.
Yes.
And you're not even sure there are doors.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
Wow.
But if somebody else comes along and says, hey, you're okay. You're going to get out of here. You know, I don't know where the light switch is. Well, let me show you.
Yes. I love it. But I love what you shared about the positive and negative words, whatever the words were that crushed you. And maybe it wasn't much of anything, but maybe it was just the timing because you were so vulnerable.
No, and that's huge.
Yes.
I put myself, I didn't know I was doing that,
Right.
but I put myself in a
Many times
position
we
of
don't.
vulnerability and high suggestibility,
Yes.
where when somebody, and I actually have a friend who's a world-renowned hypnotist, Mike DeShalit, and I talk about him in the book. And I said, tell me about this whole suggestion thing from the vantage point of a hypnotist. And he said almost the exact same thing that I had experienced, and that was, if you put yourself in a position of high suggestibility, somebody, an authoritative figure,
Okay.
my dad,
Okay.
says something, you're going to be much more likely to internalize that
Okay.
than if you're not in a high suggestibility state. Because when you allow yourself that objectivity to step back and go, now I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to watch out for the lies. I'm not going to allow somebody else to define me.
Right.
I'm not going to let I'm not going to let the lies inside of me define me. Then you are less open to suggestibility when somebody says something to you, or you say it to yourself,
Right.
and you go, no, that's not true. And I'm not going to accept that. I was not in that position. And I did not know I was putting myself into a state of high suggestibility when an authoritative figure, my dad, who again, loved
Yes.
us. He was not abusive.
Yes.
But he said something that just, it was like, pushed me right off the edge of a cliff. He had no idea.
Right.
To his dying day, he never had a clue, because I wasn't going to tell him,
Sure.
hey, here's what you did. But
Sure. Because you
You know,
had
it
an
was-
understanding he didn't say that.
no, he didn't
to
say it
do
out of
that.
malice
Yes.
at all. No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
That would have crushed him.
Absolutely, and no reason to do that.
Yes. Yeah. So, the future for Rod. What are you working toward?
Oh,
What are you looking forward to?
grandkids.
Yes.
We have a bunch of them right now. We have 8. In fact, I was with them just before I
Right.
came over here for this. Love being with my grandkids. I like staying busy, but not too busy. I like doing those seminars. You know, I like doing the entertainment thing. I'll do corporate shows and, you know, close-up stuff for
Nice.
corporations, but it's the seminars that's the part of my magic career that I really live for. I thoroughly enjoy it. In fact, I've started doing a sales training version
Okay.
of that seminar, and I was hired back in January
Love it.
for one of the biggest car dealerships in the country,
Nice.
and they had seen me at a show, and they said, "Hey, do you do sales training?" And I went, "Well, yeah, I do this thing at the resort.
Right.
I can
Of course. That makes perfect sense.
turn it into a sales
Yes.
presentation," which I did, and they loved it. So I'd like to
Great.
do more of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I love it. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. This has been so much fun.
Can I
I've
do
just-
one more thing for you?
Oh,
before I
please.
go?
Yes. Yes. Oh,
So-
we have a die here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so in my seminar, I do what's called the ideomotor response,
Okay.
which is a psychological thing. It's not a paranormal thing, but if you can think of a pendulum, if you know what a pendulum is, you can actually do this at home with a string and a little
Yes.
washer, you know,
Yes.
and you put the string here, and you let it dangle right here, and then you just focus on circle or back and forth, back
Okay.
and forth. For the vast majority of people, it will move.
Okay.
Okay. It's not a psychic thing
Okay.
making it move. It's idea,
Okay.
motor,
Okay.
right? Movement, ideomotor response.
Okay.
So it's your thoughts having an effect on your body
Okay.
and your nerves and your muscles. So I use that as an illustration that what we think affects our bodies, and our bodies
Yes.
affect what we think and our brains. So I do that illustration. So I'm not going to do a pendulum, but I will do something with
Okay.
a die. So what I'd like you to do is, I'm going to turn my back.
Okay.
I'm not going to look, but
Okay.
with your, let's see, I'm going to have you with your right hand,
Yes.
turn it any side up, and just remember what side you put it on, and then put your right hand over top
the
of it
top
so
of
I
it.
can't
Okay.
see it, okay?
With my right
And just,
hand.
yeah, and just, I won't look, but just let me know when you've got it turned over
Okay.
and you've got it covered.
I've got it covered.
Okay, do you know the number?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to think of that number. With your other hand, I want you to put your hand up like this for me. I'm going to touch your hand, hold it up just a little bit. We're going to, I want this to represent the number 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, and this will be 6. Your palm will be 6. So I'm going to put my hand on yours, and I'm going to see if I can tell just from the vibrations on your hand what number you're thinking of. So when I snap my finger, Liz, I want you to think of the part of your hand that represents the number that you're just thinking of right now, okay? Don't try to give it away.
Okay.
Don't look at your hand. In fact, I'll keep my eyes closed because I don't want to watch your eyes or anything, but try not to look at your hand. Just think about that part of your hand when I snap my finger like that.
Okay.
Let me try it again, just a little bit. Think about it right here. I'm getting slight vibration in this part of your hand.
Okay.
Right here. Are you thinking of the number 3?
Ta-da!
That was it.
I love it. That's so fun. That's so
Idiomotor
fun.
response. It's worth looking up. It's really,
I will look that up. I love that. Thank you again for your
Thank
time.
you.
This has been so much fun.
It has
and we'll have to
been.
do it again.
I would love to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you.